Hello and welcome to another video. Today, since it's September 11th, the 18th anniversary of one of the most infamous false flag operations of the modern era, I figured we'd discuss false flags that women run on men. Now, in case you're not familiar with what a false flag is, a false flag basically is when you create a problem and then you offer a solution to the problem that you created in the first place. A really good example is on the internet. You know, let's say you're browsing a website looking to buy something online. All of a sudden this pop-up comes and it's flashing to get your attention, and it says your computer is infected with a virus. Click here now to get rid of the virus. Well, the truth is there is no virus on your computer, but if you were to click in panic on that flashing window, it actually would then install and download a virus on your computer, and then you would have to pay that same company to remove the virus they originally put on your computer. You see how that works? That's called a false flag operation. Or, you know, the World Trade attacks, when, the United States government stand down, let it happen, and then they offered the solution to the problem they allowed. Or even the beginning of this month, September 1st, was the 70th year of World War II, if you can believe it or not. And World War II officially started when Hitler took a POW, put him in a Polish uniform, took him to a city on the border of Germany and Poland, I believe it was Gleiwitz, shot him dead, claimed that Poland was attempting to attack the German radio station and attack the fatherland. Therefore, the first day of September 1939, Germany invaded Poland, officially starting World War II. Or even in January of 1933, when Hitler, burned down his own government building and claimed the communists did it. Those are all forms of false flags. Now, again, the false flags women run today, the problem is pussy, okay? Every man out there knows that the pussy gets you into trouble. Well, the women offer the pussy, and that's what causes the problem, see? And then when things go bad, they try to offer the pussy as the solution to the problem. Well, the pussy ain't the solution to the problem, that's the cause of it. So the problem never goes away because that's a false flag women run today. It's a very red flag, it's a major red flag if she's extremely promiscuous and she gives it up right away without even you having to really work for it. You gotta, not that men out there don't appreciate an easy lay, but if it was easy for you, it's easy for the next guy and the next guy, and you got to wonder how many guys were there before you once you just gave it up so easy. But the reason they do it, especially single mothers, is they want to sex trap you. They want to do something to get your interest or attention. And like I've said before, women are the gatekeepers of sex. They determine whether you have sex or whether you don't. That's the power that they've innately been given. But us as men, our power is to choose whether to start a relationship or whether not to commit. And there's nothing a woman can do to make you commit. She'll try to manipulate you and put guilt trips on you to try to commit to her. But if she has no value other than what's between her legs, then that isn't worth committing to. She has to offer more than the pussy. If she doesn't offer any more than that, then there's really no point in committing with her, because you don't need to commit to get pussy. I mean, women are more than willing to give it up today. It ain't like it used to be. Things aren't like it used to be. Like I said in many videos, it's not the 1950s anymore. So if we're still operating under that mentality of you're going to go out there, find a quality woman, have a family with her, and quote, settle down. And by the way, I hate that term, settle down. Because when I hear that term, settle down, here's what I think. I think of a woman who, in her late teens, all through her 20s, had a wild time doing monkey double back flips on all the Chads and Tyrones, riding the cock carousel for all it was worth. Now they're in their 30s. They already hit the wall or about to hit the wall, so then they want to, quote, settle down, meaning now they're going to give that those beta males who they ignored through their teens and 20s. Now they're going to give them beta males attention, and then the beta male is going to get the leftovers of after she's used and abused. After her roast beef is all blown out. Because women know that those beta male providers will always be there. So why would they commit to them in their glory years, so to speak? But once they hit 30, it's like a reality check comes, and now reality hits them like a ton of bricks. So now they want to settle down, quote unquote, and get with a beta male. So then they get with this beta male, and now he thinks he won some victory when he didn't. Because keep in mind, this woman, for the first major part of her life, she's used to different dicks every day of the week. So then she gets with the beta male, she's not going to be able to settle down mentally because she's used to jumping from cock to cock. So she's going to get bored with the beta male provider, and she's going to cheat on him because that's what she's used to doing. If she's a party girl, single mother, they can't settle down. That's like trying to have a leopard take its spots away. It just isn't going to happen. And that's why I hate the phrase of settle down. But you hear everyone say it all the time. So back to the false flags. Let's go back to my miserable marriage. The problem with the marriage was the ex-wife just could not communicate about anything. She was a terrible communicator. I was supposed to be, if I was a mind reader, then it would have worked. But anytime I wanted a question answered, it was like playing 20 questions and charades, and I felt like I was a dentist pulling teeth just to get answers out of her. And you shouldn't have to do that. So I never knew what the hell was going on. She never informed me of what was going on. And then she would hold it against me because I didn't know what was going on. It was like a lose-lose situation. So with her, like I said, she never communicated about anything. I mean, nothing. We literally had no worthwhile communication about anything. The only thing she really liked to talk about was her job, and it got to the point where I said, look, I don't give a damn about your job, just shut up about it. Because it's all she talked about. And I even told her, and I'll tell every one of you out there, if all you do is talk about your job on your free time, you literally have no life outside of your job. Once I punch out of my job, that's the furthest thing from my mind. I ain't talking about it, I ain't thinking about it, and it's not because I hate my job, but it's because I know where my boundaries are. And it's one thing if you like your job and then you go off and talk about it. That I can somewhat understand. But let's say on the other hand, you hate your job. You absolutely despise the job. Why then would you then talk about and relive a thing you hate when you're away from the job on your free time? Makes absolutely no sense to me. So anyways, whenever we had a problem, rather than her and I sit down and discuss it and, like two civilized grown adults, she always thought sex was the solution. So we'd have sex. We had a lot of sex. It definitely wasn't a sexless marriage. But great sex alone isn't going to keep a marriage going or any relationship going. So here's her offering the solution. She was trying to sell pussy as the solution to the problem. But again, pussy wasn't the solution. Pussy was the original problem. That's how she pulled the false flag operation on me. And, I'm a man, so I ain't going to say no to sex. And I don't know any man who would. But at the same time, even though the sex was great, the communication was terrible. So, because the communication sucked, it brought the sex down too. Even though we never stopped, she never really held back in that area. It wasn't really meaning or worthwhile when there's no genuine connection. It was just kind of like two bodies rubbing up against each other. And I think that's another reason I stuck around for so long, is because, the sex was there. Because my marriage was absolute hell, and it was far from a sexless marriage. So any guy out there stuck in a sexless marriage, I honestly don't know how you could do it or why you would even stick around. It's, I don't know. But I'm going to tell you, just sex, great sex alone, ain't going to solve your problems. And the pussy isn't the solution to your problem, men. Pussy is the whole problem. Pussy is the reason you got in that situation to begin with, the problem. So how is the cause of the problem the solution as well? See, it isn't. That's the false flag that women run. They like to play mind games. They like to over-exaggerate their own intelligence. And I don't know about the woman you're with, but my ex-wife, she didn't complete high school. I'm not sure exactly what grade she dropped out of. But I don't get why the most ignorant people think they're the most intelligent. It's like everyone else has to read books, study, look into things, but they just have this skill that they can absorb knowledge out of thin air and they know everything. And she operated under this goofy mentality where basically if she thought it, it's gospel. That's how it is. Because she thought it was true. So I confronted her on this goofy mindset. I sat her down and I said, now look, do you consider yourself a smart person? And I always had to ask yes or no, because if not, she would go off on a rabbit trail and try to divert from the subject. I always felt like a general trying to keep things on course with a crew that didn't work for me. But anyways, excuse me, I keep burping. Anyways, I said, do you consider yourself a smart, intelligent person? Yes or no? She flat out said no, and I know that she didn't because she viewed herself as dumb. I said, okay, so you don't view yourself as an intelligent person? She's like, yes. I was like, well, then why would you make what you think final authority? Why don't you listen to me? Why don't you listen to other people who've been there, who know what they're talking about? But she never would. She, even still to this day, she has an absolute talent for making fake friends and taking advice from people who do not know what they're talking about. So that's why she's up shit creek without a paddle now, and I don't care. But the false flag women run, listen to me guys, because I've lived it. I know what I'm talking about in this area. It's the pussy. The pussy is not the solution to the problem. The pussy is the source of the problem. So for you to think the source of the problem is also the solution to it, that's a form of insanity. And if you think that, that's because the woman has shifted your gears of thinking to make you think in line with the way she wants you to think. Women want to control how you think as a man, and not only that, women want to control the dialogue. What you say, what you can't say. They want to be literally the arbiters of speech, the gatekeepers of speech, so that they determine what subjects are on limits and what subjects are off limits. And that's why I make these red pill truth videos, because there ain't no woman going to tell me what I can and can't talk about. Because I ain't, politically correct. I don't self-censor myself. If I have something to say, I say it. And I have something to say to anyone directly, I say it to the person directly. And if they don't like it, they can go to hell. Because I know my freedom of speech, and there ain't nobody going to take that away from me. So you guys need to man up. Because if you're afraid, if you speak your mind, the woman's going to leave, she's going to leave you anyways. So you might as well do what you're going to do, because she's going to do what she's going to do regardless. Or maybe you're married to her and you don't want to get too sassy with her because she may take you to court. She's going to take you to court anyways. It's just a matter of time. You're trying to prolong the inevitable. And also, you're allowing her to use her emotions to control you. It's amazing to me when I see a woman, who's, 5'5", can't weigh any more than 100 pounds, 110 pounds, but she uses her emotions to then control 6'5", 300-pound men to literally walk on eggshells, afraid that they might upset her. That's no way to live, and that ain't no man. If you gotta walk on eggshells because the woman you're with is going to be upset, you'd be better off alone. You need to find yourself a new woman. Or just go MGTOW and go it alone by yourself. Because with a woman like that, you just put yourself on the blue pill plantation, hoping you have a decent slave master. That's what it is. They're blue pill plantations. That's actually an old Roman tactic of control. Because what the Romans would do when they would conquer another nation, they would kill all the males and all the boys of military age. And what they would do then is they would get a woman to put her over the plantation, and they would tell the woman, now you keep these men in line or we're going to kill these young boys too. So then the woman, the plantation master would then, rule with a strict rod of iron to keep the men in line. And it's literally no different today. I hear women talk about how they got to keep men in line. And it's like, bitch, you ain't keeping me in line because you ain't even in line yourself. Why don't you take the plank out of your own eye before you try to take the toothpick out of mine? But that's a whole nother story. But that actually is historical, and that was the old Roman way. And since this world still glorifies the Roman Empire, basically utilizes and glorifies it, the emperors, Caesar, and then the Catholic cult keeps the Roman traditions alive. Why wouldn't they use, because we still use the Roman calendar. This world still uses the Roman calendar. It still celebrates the Roman holidays. They're just called different things today. And this world still uses the Roman way of keeping men in line with domineering, bossy, nagging, complaining women. It's literally no different. So if the woman tries to run the false flag on you by giving the pussy up easy, you men need to watch it, because those pussy lips, even though they don't have teeth, they're going to come to bite you back in the long run. So this concludes this. It's been a fun video, but this all concludes this video of false flags women run on men.